Yes, everybody, welcome back to Talking Wolves. We are here for part two of our sell, loan, keep series where we're looking at the individuals from the Wolves squad and deciding whether we would keep them, loan them or sell them ahead of the 24-25 season. Today we are looking at the midfielders, and alongside me today we've got Mr. Jord Russell. Jord, how you keep him?
I'm all good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, all good. Same as what we were an hour ago when we recorded the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
the
exactly that.
classic. So yeah, we're looking at the midfielders. If you guys want to check out our thoughts on the goalkeepers and defenders, you can do. We would have uploaded that a day or so ago, and then we've got another part with the attackers coming up. But George, with the midfielders, we will kick off with Mario Lemina. Another good year for him. Obviously after the sort of the 6 months under Lopetegui, but he's really kicked on again. He's become one of the first names on the team sheet, hasn't he, this year?
Yeah, I think, fans player of the season, had a very, very good season on the whole. I think his form's dipped a little bit, probably the last 4 to 6 weeks, same as the rest of the team, though, to be honest with you. I think he just ran out of gas. I think he could do with getting himself a 5-star all inclusive to Mauritius or somewhere like that. Rest up and go again next season. I think 5 million quid. I think we got him for last January. Um, it'd be very interesting to know which £5 million was better value, Matinho or Lemina. If you put that as a poll to fans, but Lemina, easy keep, quite easy. Could be our captain for me. Yeah, really influential player, very very impressive in his time at Wolves, and yeah, I think let's say it's a no-brainer.
I was just looking at some of his stats. He played 35 games for us in all competitions, scored 5 goals. That's the second highest amount of appearances he's had in one season before, which probably shows, I don't know if he had in and out teams or had injuries previously, but his first season at Nice, he played 36 times. But for Wolves, he's never, 35 games, fantastic. And obviously, a difficult year for him as well, where obviously his father passed away halfway through the year, so missed out on a couple of games that way as well. But really kicked on and been a very good player for Wolves this season, alongside Joao Gomes as well, who we'll speak about now. Jord, we've already mentioned on the last video, talking about the three main assets, which I think is pretty obvious in Aït-Nouri, Joao Gomes and Pedro Neto, probably the most sellable players. But Joao Gomes has been an unbelievable 12 months for him. Obviously joined similar sort of time to Lemina, although Lemina sort of had much more opportunities last year. Joao Gomez took him a while to break into the team, but this year has just, kicked on and been a fantastic little player, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's class. Probably my favourite player, I think, in this current squad. I think I mentioned it on the pod, if it wasn't the last one, a couple pods ago, when we sort of touched on this. He's the first name on the team sheet for me. Even taking Lemina out of it, Cunha, all these are very important players for Wolves. For me, build a team around him. I think he's that good. And again, I would 100% keep him. I don't think there's any reason to sell him this summer unless he's kicking and screaming to go. I don't think he would do that. I think he knows sort of how much of a fuss that the fans and we made as a club to get him. And I think we've got another 12 months in him personally before we do sell him. I think where I mentioned on the last one where Aït-Nouri's value may probably hit its ceiling. It's very hard to say. I think Gomez, there's another gear or two yet to go. I think he could quite easily be £100 million footballer, and I don't think we get that yet for him. So, yeah, for me, keep him. Reject all bids that come this way this summer, and what will only enhance that as well is hopefully he goes and has a good Copa America for Brazil as well,
Yeah.
and then comes back. Like I say, realistically, I know he's not going to be here forever. I know he's probably got aspirations to go and play for bigger clubs. I can't begrudge him that, and I think he could go and play most clubs in the world as well. But yeah, I think we get another 12 months out of him. Then he'll go with my blessings, go down as a bit of a cult hero at Wolves, and yeah,
Yeah,
definite keep.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and again, 34 games in all comps and awards this year. Still only 23, but a brilliant, brilliant season for him this year. Again, even later games against Liverpool, I thought he's fantastic as well. But yeah, I think there'll be a lot of people watching him. But still, I think it seems to be Aït-Nouri or Neto are the ones that have been spoke about the most about potential sales. So I'm hoping that Joao Gomez is one that sticks around. I think Wolves are aware that there's interest. I know they've got targets lined up if Joao Gomez were to go. But I think very much a keep with him. Player that sort of came in and again long season for him, Jord, really. Boubacar Traore, it took him a long, long time before he started getting some game time this year. I know he's had a couple of injuries out on international duty at times as well. I say that he played 21 league games for us this season, which I wouldn't have said. I wouldn't have said that at all. He played
No.
24 games in total. I would have genuinely said he played less than like 12 or 13 games for us. I just can't
Yeah,
remember a lot of them.
I'd have said between 12 to 15
Yeah,
max
20.
really for
Obviously,
him.
he would have come on for the last few moments in games. But yeah, 24 games overall, 21 appearances in the Premier League this season. What are you thinking about him?
I like him.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a good player. For me, is what I think for me with Traore, it's no fault of his own or his levels of ability. It's just I think Lemina and Gomez are better, and I think that's fair to say, and I don't think that's an outrageous take. And what I think that we lack at Wolves, and I think O'Neill's touched on it a little bit as well, is we've got a lot of profile players who are very similar, and we haven't got a lot of options or different players. So for me, with Traore, I think if you could get a decent fee for him, where we make a profit on him, it sounds mad to say, but I think I would sell him only on the basis of we reinvest that in a different profile midfielder.
Mm.
And again, that could be very controversial. I'm open to discuss it. I'm sure people in the comments will harass me on it, but yeah, for me, I think he's very similar to the other two. And if we, out of, I know we'll get on to Tom Doyle in a second as well, who ain't going anywhere. Um, I think Traore is the one that you'd be able to move on and get a different profile player for. So for me, it's not a hard sell, but it's a sell.
Do you not think, again, he's only 22 years of age as well, Boubacar. Do you not think that maybe, I don't want to sort of shorten Lemina's career by any stretch, but Lemina's 30 now, 8 years difference, Traore. Do you not think keep with Traore, chance that, he could be the long-term replacement for Lemina?
I think there is that argument, and I see that argument. I just think Traore is going to be in a position where he's going to want to play football. And Lemina if Lemina was 34, 35, you can almost
Yeah,
see that natural. You're going to
progression,
step
yeah.
in, and you're going to be the next Lemina. Where I think actually Lemina's probably got another 2, 3 years at the top level, whether that's for us or another team. Hopefully, it's for us. I think it makes it a little bit more difficult. I mean, I'm more than comfortable with Traore sticking around. I do think he's a good footballer. I'm just thinking of raising funds and how we can do that to reinvest. Out of the four of them, and include Doyle in that, Traore would be the one I'd look to move on out of the four of them to try and raise those funds. So, yeah, he's a sell for me in this series, but I'm happy if he sticks around as well.
Do you think a loan could work for him? I
Could work
just
for
think
him,
it's
but it works for him. But does it work for us?
um I just don't think his value is going to be up there at the moment, but just because of the limited
No, I don't either.
minutes he's had.
No, I know that sort of goes against stuff I've already said in the previous video, and will say in the other videos as well. I do think his ceiling. He's not at his ceiling yet, but
Yeah, nowhere near.
I don't know if he's going to play enough for us. I don't think he's going to get enough game time in the next couple of years for us to see what that ceiling is. If that makes sense, I don't think he's
Mm.
going to be a regular for us. And again, I'd be comfortable if he was a regular for us. I just think that I just think Lemina and Gomez are better options than him.
So what are you saying? Sell on boobs?
Sell on boobs, yeah. Hard buy on
Yes.
boobs usually. Um, yeah, for me, yeah. And again, I'm a bit indifferent on this one. I haven't got a real strong opinion either way, but I would sell simply because of I think we need a different profile sort of player, a midfielder, to balance us out a little bit more, and he'd be the one I'd sacrifice out the four.
Okay. And Tommy Doyle, that you mentioned earlier, obviously, we know he's not going anywhere unless City buy him back, possibly, or Wolves do have a quick profit, but which I highly doubt will happen. But Tommy Doyle to Wolves, that's confirmed. Again, limited opportunities this year, Joe, but whenever he's come into the team and had chances, he's been a very decent player. And like you said, in terms of profiles, it's sometimes been nice to see him, slightly different than
Yeah.
the physicality that Lemina and Joao Gomes have given us.
I think he's a class act. I think he's a very, very tidy footballer. Um, I think that he plays with wing mirrors, and that's the one great thing I can say about top midfielders or good midfielders is they're already scanning the pitch. They know the picture around them before they've even got the ball, and he definitely does that. You can definitely see that he was brought up in the City academy with those talented footballers. And the one thing that I don't think gets spoken about enough, really, or that probably hasn't been recognised enough is. He was in these teams with like your Palmers and all these sort of players growing up, and he was the captain
Mm.
of these players. You know what I mean? So yeah, he's got a good profile. I like him a lot, and he's obviously an easy keep.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited to see what we can get out of Tommy Doyle. I think I was possibly expecting maybe a couple more goals off him, just because free kicks
I'm
or
glad he
whatever. But
didn't because I'd have had a tattoo
oh
of
yeah, oh god, yeah, God. But the goal, who was my player on that? By the way, the tattoo thing, I can't remember.
Can't remember. I know mine was definitely Tommy Doyle though. I
Yeah,
think it was 5 goals outside the box, and I can only remember the Brentford one.
yeah, the Brentford one, but still, um, I'm sure whoever mine was didn't even join us. I'm sure I can't remember. Um, Jean-Ricner Bellegarde, Jord, again, another player's had a frustrating season, predominantly down to injuries, to be honest. But he split opinions a little bit whenever he's played. But again, I think we saw him against Liverpool start that game. I think he showed the quality that he's got, to be honest. And I think, again, going back to what we mentioned on the last video in terms of players
Yeah.
settling in and so on, I think next year could be a much better one to judge and hopefully see the best out of Jean-Ricner Bellegarde.
Yeah, I think he's a good player. I think that Liverpool game, he was class. I think against Tottenham, he had a really good game as well. Injuries at the wrong time. He sort of got injured when we started hitting form,
Mm,
so we didn't see him. And then he's been in and out a little bit. I think he's a very, very good footballer, and he came from Strasbourg, didn't he? I
yeah,
believe in this.
yeah,
Was it Strasbourg? Yeah. And like Chelsea didn't want him necessarily to join the Premier League team because they could tell that he got potential about him. It was him and Diarra, wasn't it? I think was the other player, centre midfielder,
yeah.
who we also linked with, who we didn't get. I think he's a very good footballer. I think you see the best of him next year, and I think he's a I I think he's probably more. I think he's better off wider than he is through
Centrally.
the centre.
Yeah.
Personally, and getting the ball from deep and driving with the ball. I think there's a few Wolves fans have written him off a little bit because he was playing as a false nine when we basically had no one else to play there. And he's definitely better when he's when he's getting the ball and driving with the ball rather than his back to goal or back to play. So yeah, look, good player. Definitely keep him. I think we'll see a lot more of him next season.
He reminds me a little bit of Cavallero in the fact that like Cavallero wasn't rapid like lightning quick, but he could drive the ball forward, had some serious ability on the ball. And I was seeing
Yeah,
with Jean-Ricner Bellegarde as well. He's like in terms of his technical ability, his crossing ability. What was it recently? The goal. Oh, he got the City goal. It was a cross into the area, which was a nice
yeah,
ball. I
yeah,
think Edison should have done better, but I think we've seen that, and obviously in front of goal as well. He's taken opportunities, scored twice in the league this season for Wolves. So yeah,
yeah, for sure.
I'm excited for next season for Jean-Ric Bellegarde as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And we finish off with Pablo in terms of like the senior midfielders. Pablo Sarabia, we could have so easily put him on tomorrow's video of the forwards, but drop him down to midfield. Jord. Again, again, I mean, if you picked Wolves' best front three, I don't think Pablo Sarabia would be in there, but he's shown in spells this year the player we expect, like why we sign him, because he showed some serious quality. But I think he struggled a little bit to get going under Lopetegui. And it's just been a bit stop-start for him this year. It took him a long while to break into Gary O'Neill's plans. I think he was quite fortunate with the injuries, really. Scored a couple of great goals. But where do you see Pablo Sarabia's future at Wolves? Is he going to be in that Wolves squad next year, do you think?
I think he's gone. I actually really like him. I'm a big advocate of him. I like him. I think technically very, very good. I would love to keep him at the club. I think I would love him in the squad still next season. I think he's a very, very good footballer. And you don't play for Spain if you shit. Let's be
Yeah,
honest. You
of
got called
course.
up for the Spanish squad. Got a recall in February. I think the February internationals. I think it was. I just think that. he will probably go. And again, we only got him for 4 or 5 million quid. I think again it was very much a nominal fee, but he's one of the big earners, if not one of the top, but maybe even the top earner at the club wage wise.
Mm.
So yeah, I think we will sell him. I don't think he'll be here come the start of the season.
I think again, I think the thing that holds Pablo Sarabia back a little bit is the way our shape and so on. And I think in terms of he's a good player, and I think you get given the ball, he'll make something happen. But with how Wolves play as a counter-attacking team and so on, he's not really got the pace to trouble defenses a lot, and that's sort of. I don't know. I think if you had in regards to you put three defenders in front of Sarabia and three defenders in front of Bellegarde, I think I'd probably trust Bellegarde to dribble past them and create something. Whereas I think Sarabia can create something with the space. If we were playing a back four with like a number 10, I think perfect for him. But I think long
Yeah,
term, it wouldn't surprise. If you can make your money back on him, you shake someone's hand and say thank you very much. But I think you could even make a profit
yeah,
on him still.
yeah. I think you might get a little bit of profit on him. You might be able to get anywhere between 5 to 10 million for him,
Mm.
for sure. And yeah, look, I think he's technically an unbelievable footballer. Lacks a bit of pace, um, but you don't need to have blistering pace to be a good footballer.
No, of
Like
course
in
not.
those sort of positions, I likened him to a bit like a One Matter. And again, I'm not saying he's One Matter. One Matter had an unbelievable career, but I think very similar profile of player where not the quickest, but wonder the left foot, brilliant left foot, technically fantastic, and it'd be a shame to see him go. But I do genuinely think he will be. I don't think he'll be here next summer. Well,
No.
sorry, next season.
Yeah, no, I agree. So put him down as a sell.
We'll put him as a sell. Yeah,
Yeah. Move on to a couple of the lads, the younger lads, Tawanda Chirewa. Again, interesting one for him. He signed last summer, Jord. Broken into the team. Had some promising little cameos, to be fair to him. Done really well in the 21s. But when he's been given opportunities in the first team, he even came off the bench in the Black Country Derby, I remember, against West Brom. You've seen glimpses, haven't we? But I think, in my opinion, for a player of that age now, Wolves have sort of discovered a very decent footballer. Needs to be getting some consistent minutes at men's football, hasn't he? I'm thinking
yeah.
sort of mid to top end of Championship loan. Really, he needs.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think he's a good footballer. I like what I see. I think he'll be another one we mentioned about Breno leaving Girona. I think he'll be another one that'll be gutted he left Ipswich because I think
Yeah.
he'd have been playing for him. I think he'd
Mm.
have been having minutes and would have been getting that vital first team football that he needed at that sort of age. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to lose him. I definitely wouldn't want to sell him. I think we put him down as a loan. But again, I think Gary O'Neill and the backroom staff really like him. So I won't be surprised if you see him stick around the squad and play a little bit more next season. I think, for these young players, you see it, and again, not liking him to these sort of players, but you saw Pep do it for years with Foden and Cole Palmer. And then you all of a sudden see, because they're training around better level of player week day in day, and that brings them on. So yeah, I think let's put him down as a loan, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was in the first match day squad of the Premier League season.
Mm. Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's always nice to have those players around there. If you can still get in that sort of decent level of minutes, whether it be between the 21s and the first team, I think he's that level. Whenever I watch him in the 21s, he's the best player on the pitch. But I just don't think he's
Yeah,
ready to make that big step up. And there's a couple of players, the younger lads on the forwards video, which we'll discuss as well, who I think are on that similar sort of path. So yeah, be interesting decision for Wolves to make on that one. Final couple of players, Joe Hodge went out on loan to QPR, I believe, second half of the season. Again, I think he was another player that was expecting to be playing more, but I think you look at the players that are in front of him at the moment. I think he's well behind on that list, isn't he? Really, Joe Hodge could be maybe the year that Wolves let him go on a permanent deal, but only played 8 times at QPR since
yeah.
Jan.
Couldn't even get a game at QPR at the end. I'd sell him. I never really got the hype with Joe Hodge either, and this is me sort of bashing him or whatever. I just when people were like, yeah, he's a good football, he's decent. People thought, he's got a career and at Wolves and stuff. I just never was that convinced. I think he's a tidy footballer. And I think he's a tidy footballer. I think I don't think he's a Premier League footballer. I think he could have a good career, in football, no doubt about it. And then in English football, whether that's Championship, um, or even League One or someone like that, I don't know. But I think, yeah, for me, I'd let him go. I don't think he's got a future at Wolves.
Yeah, I think 23 first team appearances at the age of 21. He needs to start settling down somewhere, doesn't he? So yeah, I would agree. I'm sort of similar camp to you as well. I can't see him fitting into Wolves' plans. There's too many players ahead of him at the moment. You know, he would have to have an unbelievable pre-season, or an unbelievable turnaround, which I just can't see happening. So look, I don't think you're going to get millions for him, but you might get a little bit of money, get yourself a little sell on just in case, and I think that'd be it. And then Luke Cundle, the same. Jord, I'm in a similar sort of camp on Luke Cundle as well.
Yeah,
Although he's had a little bit more of a successful year, and over the last couple of years, definitely had more game time than Joe Hodge, Luke Cundle. You know, he's 22 now, but again, two loan spells this year. First one at Plymouth, where he made 27 appearances, then moved to Stoke, he made another 16 appearances. Does get himself in and amongst the goals. He scored 5 goals for Plymouth, 2 goals for Stoke. I think he'll go, and I think you'll get a little bit of money for him, maybe a couple of million.
yeah. Yeah, he followed Stephen Schumacher, didn't he, this season?
Yeah.
Obviously, when he went to Stoke, he took him with him, so he obviously quite likes him. Um,
But you
yeah,
look at the
again,
the last 2 years in the Championship though, he's had 34 games in all comps at Swansea, and then this year again another even better campaign for him, over 40 games. So in
yeah,
terms of him versus Joe Hodge, he's at that much higher level. But I think
yeah,
you'll have suitors for him as well.
yeah, I do as well. And I think he's a tidy footballer. I think he's a decent footballer. I just don't think I don't think he'll have a career at Wolves. And yeah, again for me, he's a sell. Um, and then yeah, just I think we'll sell. We'll get a nominal fee for him. Put a bit of a sell on clause on there, or some promotion bonuses and all that sort of crap. And actually, you might get a decent deal out of it. Depending on where he moves to. But I think he could end up at Stoke. I think the Stoke. I know he's in and out a little bit, but I think at the back end of the season, I think the Stoke fans have warmed to him a little bit more
Yeah.
now. So I wouldn't be surprised. And Stoke are, they're one of the Championship clubs that will spend money always. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to Stoke on a permanent.
Yeah, I would agree as well. I think big year coming up for Stoke. They really need to press on, and I think Schumacher first full season with them probably would. And I don't think it's unreasonable to think that as well. But that is all for the midfielders edition of the Sell Loan Keep series. If you liked it, drop a like on the video. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you agree, disagree with any of our points? If you haven't already, go and catch the goalkeepers, the defenders edition, and we'll be back for the attackers edition in the next day or so as well. But until next time, guys, we'll catch you on the next one.